Good afternoon, everybody. It's fantastic to be able to talk to you from the end of the first week, where we have again achieved an enormous amount in terms of responding to the present situation. Obviously, locally here in Southend, we are faced with some extremely challenging times. We are hearing, horror stories coming from the hospital, and I think it's really important that we were all seen to take this situation extremely seriously, and do everything we possibly can to support each other at this time. Staff came back very willingly. I know there were some newspaper articles suggesting that teachers didn't want to come into school or something, and I think some very negative press there, which was very unfortunate and not reflective of my experience of any teacher that I've spoken to, and obviously in this school, but very much across the board. And that goes for all our support staff and site team and catering team. Everybody's been very, very keen to do whatever they possibly can to support the school, our children and our families at this time. So it's with huge pride that I can, categorically state that we some of the things that might have appeared in the paper were not reflective of certainly of Alan Court. To be honest, I don't think they were hugely reflective of anybody. So a good start, not a perfect start. It was very difficult. I'm not going to lie. It was very difficult to come back to what was a situation, a situation that we'd very much hoped it was a past situation. We're getting better. Things have rolled out this week. We've been developing bits and pieces. We're definitely seeing increased use of both Teams and Zoom through Teams. They have their various pros and cons. But Zoom uses a bigger bandwidth. It is a bit more intuitive, uses a bigger bandwidth, and children and families do seem to find it harder to get on and more often get kicked off, but quite like the general look of it and feel of it. So we'll continue to do both those methods, I'm sure. I think for me, the thing is that, looking forwards and backwards, I think is always a useful tool at certain times to stop and think, what will people say about this period in 20 years' time? Well, I think if we looked back 20 years at what might have been had the pandemic arrived in the year 2000, for example, rather than 2020, I think things would have been very different indeed. So at that point, BlackBerry phones had literally just come onto the market for those fortunate enough to be able to afford them, and Facebook won't be invented for 2 years. So a very different situation to the one we have now. There would have been no infrastructure at all. I think it's worth remembering that in 20 years' time, I suspect people will look back at this period and marvel at what schools have achieved with the infantile technology that they had at their disposal. Because although the wonders of the internet, the wonders of Microsoft Teams and the wonders of Zoom do sometimes feel wonderful, we must remember that they are absolutely at their infancy. These are not mature systems. They've got a lot of development to do. And in 20 years' time, I genuinely think that what parents and teachers and schools and communities have achieved at this time will be considered utterly awesome. So please do not give up hope. It will get better. We'll all work together. I know we're back to the situation whereby it's a lot of work for everyone. My teachers are working routinely from 7:30 in the morning till 10:30 at night. I'm going to bed watching stuff come up on Teams that's being loaded up from teachers working very late into the night. I myself have enjoyed my debut as a maths teacher using remote education, and I promise I'll get better. So sorry, Year 5. I promise I'll get better. Thanks very much indeed to all those people who supported me. So that's it really. Thank you very much indeed. I hope that you have a lovely weekend and look forward to seeing people in various different situations and scenarios next week. Just bye-bye.